Good day, sir and ma'am. We are the group Z2041, which is our study entitled Assessing Fear of Crime During Pandemic Among Residents in Barangay San Miguel, Tagum City Basis for Action Plan. So in rationality, fear of crime was worth researching for, but it requires a lot of patience and time to get a positive result, as it was such a common social problem over time. Because of their sophistication, it was very difficult to understand. So this present time partnership was undetermined in the context of expected experience and feelings of fear and insecurity. So fear of crime has contributed to a wider field of predictive inquiries. It means that a continuous double search relating to this area must be carried out. So fear is complex and multifaceted. What about crime? Fear of crime describes a general phenomenon using common or everyday language, but it needs greater specificity if it is to be an analytical, useful concept. Distinguishing fear from general concerns about crime and focusing on personal risk, and defining fear as three interlinked aspects, which is affect, behavior, and cognition. So related to the subjective threat of victimization brings some much needed clarity to the issue. Yet, how we define crime also shapes the boundaries of the contract. If crime stands for the perceived risk of victimization, and if people project that risk onto low-level neighborhood conditions and pick up images of crime and risk via circulating information, then a complete definition of fear of crime needs to account for the different ways in which people see and respond to risk and generate representations of dangerousness. For example, studies about people's perceptions of neighborhood disorder and social cohesion suggest that fear of crime is partly about how people perceive and respond to particular environments and situations, according to Torrente, Gallo, and Ultra 2017. So this study of fear of crime was also sponsored by Geddes and Beck's 2015 risk system theory that deals with the way society organizes and responds to risk. It determines the society's increasing worried outlook in the future that creates the risk-inducing notion of fear and worry. Fear of crime and how people are aware and or handle their chance of victimization has been a topic of risk culture conversation. So this was also attributed to the highly complex and dynamic nature of the dissemination of information, social conditions that influence crime prevention, and neoliberal governance. Consequently, the multidimensional nature of the central concept was specialized in a broad interpretation of the fear of crime. So a broad interpretation also requires a perceptual, mental, and behavioral aspect of criminal terror. The cognitive aspects deals with the actual emotional response and the internal estimation of the risk of being a crime victim. So the behavioral aspect approaches an emotional dimension and deals with what people are doing in reaction to their perceived fear of crime, according to Fata and Sacco 2013. So fear of crime can have negative consequences on the psyche of individuals because it can restrict the independence and choice of individuals and greatly affect individual actions in space. So crime awareness reduces human mobility. It affects the safety and well-being of people, hinders community activity, leisure activities, and leads to frustration with public spaces, neighborhood, and general life. By that, most Filipinos tend to be vigilant about neighborhood criminality and the involvement of drug addicts in their neighborhoods, given the intense government drive against illegal drug and other criminal activities.
Good day, I'm the next reporter. The findings of this study may serve as the basis of formulating style on the level of fear of crimes, of fostering a safe community, so that people are not afraid to go out. The outcome of this research may provide insights to all individuals to improve their faith towards police officer that helps them to be safe everywhere. It may provide information to all individuals, particularly in their confidence. The result of this study may give motivation to the officers that they may continue participating and working daily tasks. It will inform the chain of their custody regarding on how they will act with dignity and always do their task as an individual effectively. It may help the citizens in coping with the changes of the atmosphere on the community. Furthermore, the results of the study may eventually benefit the scene. This study is conducted to evaluate the level of fear of crime. It may encourage and involve them to make greater progress. Finally, the findings of this study provide the future researchers a starting point how to expand the coverage of the research in terms of variables covered in the study. Research objectives: to assess the level of fear of crime in terms of first, highly police visibility; second, increased level of community safety; three, risk of victimization; then to purpose an action plan based on how result of the study. Methods: population and sample. The study was conducted at Tagum City. The specific respondents of the study are the resident in Tagum City, in which random sampling were used. According to Frankel 2016, random sampling in a sample of subjects that is randomly selected from a group and is thereof assumed to be representative of that group. As such, the researchers utilized this of determining the level of fear of crimes in Barangay San Miguel, Tagum City, basis for action plan. Research instrument. The instruments used in this study will researcher made questionnaire. It is influenced straightforward to brief and succinct sentences to give the respondents essential comprehension about the reason for the examination. The questionnaire is validated by the committee prior to the administration. This questionnaire is used to measure the fear of crimes among residents in Barangay San Miguel, Tagum City.
I am the last reporter. The parameter used is shown below. In evaluating the level of fear of crimes, the 5 orderable graduations with a respective range of means and description will be considered. Range of mean 4.3 to 5.0. The descriptive equivalent is very high. The interpretation, this means that the fear of crimes among residents in Barangay San Miguel is very much evident. Range of mean 3.5 to 4.2, descriptive equivalent is high. Interpretation, this means that the fear of crimes among residents in Barangay San Miguel is much evident. Range of mean 2.7 to 3.4, descriptive equivalent is moderate. Interpretation, this means that the fear of crimes among residents in Barangay San Miguel is evident. Range of mean 1.9 to 2.6, descriptive equivalent is low. The interpretation, this means that the fear of crimes among residents in Barangay San Miguel is less evident. Range of mean 1.0 to 1.8, descriptive equivalent is very low. Interpretation, this means that the fear of crimes among residents in Barangay San Miguel is not evident. The design and procedure. This study is descriptive type of research. This method is used when the objective is to describe the status of the situation as it existed at the time of the study to explore the causes of a particular phenomenon. In descriptive type of research, it involved collecting data to assess the level of fear of crime. The descriptive survey, this descriptive survey dealt with quantitative data about the said phenomenon. The quantitative aspect is an appropriate schedule for gathering the data designed for the target respondents to answer the questions. The process of gathering the data is based using questionnaires. The focus of the study is to determine the level of fear of crime in Barangay San Miguel, Tagum City. After the approval of the panel members, the researcher will undergo the following steps and procedures in gathering data for the study. In data collection method is used for the researchers to gather more information and to review related studies as well. The researchers observe the following procedures that lead this study made it possible. The researcher makes a letter address to the Dean of College for asking permission to conduct the study after the approval. The researcher personally will distribute and administer the questionnaires on the level of fear of crime in Barangay San Miguel, Tagum City. Finally, the researcher will tally and will tabulate all the data gathered from the respondents, subject to statistical analysis. The statistical results will be analyzed and interpreted. With the data, conclusions will be drawn, and the recommendation will be formulated based on the findings of the study. The data gathered through the research instrument will be tallied, tabulated, interpreted, and analyzed using the following statistical tools. Mean, this will be used to determine the level of fear of crimes in Barangay San Miguel, Tagum City.